Okay, this lesson's all about calculating probability, the probability of an event happening. And it's really important to remember that we don't use words in these situations. So when we are answering questions like the ones on your cards, what's the probability of rolling a 6? I don't want you to tell me it's unlikely or likely or even chances or any of those words. I want you to give me a number. And that number can be one of three things. It can be a fraction. It can be a decimal. Or it can be a percentage. Any of those three things are perfectly acceptable ways of giving me a probability as a number. What we mustn't do is write it as a ratio. So we mustn't ever be writing something with colons and two numbers on either side. So let's have a look. We're rolling one dice. So that dice has got the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 on it. There are 6 possible outcomes, 6 things that dice could possibly land on. And I want to know the probability that it lands on a 6. Well, out of those 6 numbers, only one of them is a 6. So it's 1 out of 6. And the best way of writing that is a fraction. Don't write words, don't write 1 out of 6. Write it as a fraction for me, that's the easiest way to do it. Rolling an odd number, well, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. And out of those numbers, 1, 3 and 5 are the odd numbers. So I've got 3 odd numbers out of 6 numbers altogether. And that one simplifies nicely, so that's the same as a half. Now this one is easy to do as a decimal or as a percent, so if you preferred, we could say it's 0.5, or we could say it's 50%. Any of those are perfectly acceptable answers to that question. Rolling a 1 or a 2, well, we've got a 1, we've got a 2, that's 2 options altogether out of the 6 numbers that we had. And if I cancel that one down, let's half them both. I get a third, 1 out of 3, so there's a 1 in 3 chance that I'll roll a 1 or a 2. And that one's more difficult to write as a percentage or as a decimal, so we don't need to, we can just stick with our fractions, and fractions are usually the best way of expressing a probability. So, you've then got the option of throwing a coin instead. So when you toss that coin, you can get a head, you can get a tail. There's only 2 things that could possibly happen. It could land on heads, and there's 1 head on that coin, and there's 2 sides to that coin altogether. So it's a half, or it's 0.5, or it's 50%, whichever one you prefer. And the same again, getting a tail, well, there's 1 tail, and there's 2 sides to the coin, so it's the same thing. 1 out of 2, 0.5, or 50%. So that's the basics. Now you give this one a try. So we've got a bag, it's got 5 blue balls, 4 green balls and 1 yellow ball in it. So check, hint, first thing to do, see how many balls you've got all together. So we've got 10 balls all together. See if you can use that information to work out the probabilities of each of those things happening. Press pause, give it a try, and when you want the answers, press play again.